Hey friend, my name is Sigma and welcome to Basic Human Talk. And I used to think that as an English second language speaker, I would never be able to enjoy reading book in English at all. Because you see, in the past, when I start reading book, I see difficult word that I don't understand what it means. I would stop reading altogether and then start to search for the meaning of that word. So by the time I understand that that word, I don't understand what it means. I already forgotten what I was reading about. So I quit reading altogether many more times than I can count. So if you ever feel like this, don't be discouraged. You are not alone because I've been there. I would like to share 5 tips with you, and hopefully it's by the end of this video you would use this 5 tips to help you somehow. I hope so. So let's go. Tip number 1 is choose the book that match your interest and also match your level of vocabulary. So basically, when you first start, make sure that the book is simple, easy, and short. That way you don't feel discouraged from the start. Tip number 2 is make reading your daily habit. So don't worry about 30 minutes, don't worry about 1 hour. Just 10 minutes, 2 pages, that's good enough when you first start. And make it consistent. And by that I mean if you choose to read before bedtime, make sure that tomorrow you will read before bedtime too, the next day before bedtime too. If you choose it to read during your lunch break, do that. Make sure it's consistent. That way, eventually it will become your habit. Unconsciously it will become your habit. And then you can, add up the page or minute later on. But do it small. That's okay. 2 pages is fine. 10 minutes is fine. That is okay. But make sure it's consistent. That is the key word. Keep it consistent. Tip number 3 is don't stop to look for the definition of the unknown word. Just highlight it and then keep reading. And you can come back to that word later on. By doing this, you will keep the reading flow smooth and you stay engaging and you don't feel frustrated. For example, in the past, I like to highlight that word and then look for that word right away and look for that word in my language. But the thing is, sometimes the word doesn't make any sense when it translates to my language. So by doing that, I would put myself in frustration mode, because the word not only not make sense to me in English, now it's not make sense to me in my language as well. So if I'm doing that, I will get frustrated and yes, will quit reading again. So just highlight it and come back to that word later on. Believe me, when you come back, that word will not seem to be unknown anymore. Tip number 4 is very helpful and effective for me. So tip number 4 is I take note directly inside the book. Like in the past, if I see the quote or the sentence like really interesting, I would write that quote or that sentence inside another notebook or sometimes on a sticky note. But I seem to forget, and then I like, what if I write it directly next to that sentence? So I highlight that sentence, I write down my opinion, why that sentence interesting to me. In a way, it feels like I'm talking directly to the author of the book, So it made me feel so engaging, like I write it down next to the sentence that I like or the quote that I like, saying out loud what I think it means, So by doing that, I make myself engaged to the book and also not boring. That is the whole point. Like reading somehow not boring anymore. 5 is the most important, I think. I want you to know that there's no guilt of not finish a book. I used to feel so guilty. Like, say example, if I see the book that I think I would enjoy, and then I did 1 chapter and then 2 chapter, and I'm like, I don't seem to interesting in that book anymore, and then the book is getting boring, and on and on. But I'm feeling guilty that, oh, why can't I finish this book? Or if I don't finish it, what is the point of reading? I start to put pressure on myself, and the guilt just start to come in. So I just want you to let you know that if only one chapter from that book that interests you, just read that one chapter and then stop reading and pick another book. And if another book is more interesting, finish that book. But if it's not, if only one chapter that you want to read from certain book, just read one chapter, and maybe you can come back to that book later on. But no guilt. Don't feel guilty of not finish the book. Continue that. Remember, quality over quantity. So to sum it up, choose a simple book. Make reading a daily habit. If you see the unknown word, remember, keep going and then come back to that word later on. And take note directly to the book. And do not feel guilty you don't finish a book. That's okay. So if you try to insert the reading habit into your daily life, remember, progress takes time, and the whole key is to keep it consistent. Don't stress yourself over an unknown word. Remember, one page at a time, and eventually you will find reading is enjoyable. So thank you for being here in my first video, and I'm grateful that you are here. So happy reading, and I will see you on the next video.